Welcome back here to another edition of First and 10 as another exciting week of sports has passed and no other sports debate show covers it better than we do. Orleans Francois, Nick Presto, Eddie Atkinson here. So, this past Sunday we had a great game between the Los Angeles Lakers and the New Orleans Pelicans. The clash between LeBron versus Zion. LeBron James notched his 12th triple-double of the season. Zion had a career-high 35 points. And Lakers came out with a huge needed win, 112 to 114. They now remain the top seed in the Western Conference with 46 wins. So, guys, what do we take from what happened between the clash the second time around, LeBron versus Zion? And did his 35-point performance, which was a career high, did he prove that he should be in the Rookie of the Year conversation ahead of Ja Morant?
I wouldn't put him ahead of Ja Morant yet, because Ja Morant has been particularly healthy throughout the entirety of the whole season, while Zion came in much later, came in 2020. So I'm still giving it to Ja, but I'm glad you brought that up because I will say at one point of the season, Ja Morant has always been the favorite to win Rookie of the Year, and when Zion wasn't playing, he was over a +1. He was 1,000 plus of odds to win the Rookie of the Year award. Now he's at a +350 odds. So clearly his stock is rising. He's performing at an increasingly high rate. The man's putting up 30 points per game now over his last couple games. He's balling out. And of course LeBron, he had to show him a little bit of experience there. Anytime Zion made a hype play, like when Zion got that very nice move and dunk, LeBron James came right down the other end of the floor. And if you saw, he hit that logo 3. So he had to pause on Zion real quick just to let him know who's still in charge around here. But I can't wait to see these guys battle out more in the future.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but for once, I actually agree with Presto. Very well said, sir. I would not put Zion above Ja in the Rookie of the Year race for the simple fact that he has missed a substantial amount of time this season. Mm-hmm. And if you think about it, Ja's on a team where he's doing so much more with less help. So I still think Ja is leading the race, but Zion his name definitely needs to be considered and mentioned when Rookie of the Year talks begin.
I say yes. Zion Williamson should be Rookie of the Year.
No.
Why do you feel that way?
Why?
Here's why. Let me explain. Hold up,
That's
before y'all
good.
interrupt me. I ain't say a word when y'all was talking. This is my time. Thank you. All right. Easy. Look at the numbers. Stats. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Zion's averaging more points, more rebounds, has a better PER. 24.7 rebounds, 25.57 PER compared to Ja Morant, 17 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists, 18.5 PER. Okay, well, you mentioned the part where, Zion's only played a handful of games, 15 games this season compared to Ja Morant, who's played about, 54 games? All right, we'll do that, Let's compare the first 15 games of them. Make it evenly fair. Ja Morant's first 15 games in the season compared to Zion. Ja Morant averages 19.6 points per game, shooting 44% from the field, 35% from 3. Zion, 24 points, averaging more points than Ja. Check for Zion. 59% from the field. Check for Zion. 41.7% from 3. Zion Williamson is shooting a better three-point percentage than Ja Morant. Oh, that's through the first 15 games now. I'm just comparing. So you look at this, and ever since Zion came back, they've had a better winning percentage. And, Memphis has kind of fallen off just a little bit, even though they're still hanging on to the 8th seed in the West.
If Zion...
New Orleans is only 3.5 games out. And listen, Zion could have easily pulled the Ben Simmons on us and say, you know what, I'm going to just play next year and, be a rookie and try to win Rookie of the Year next year, putting up these numbers in the second year in the league. He's like, no, you know what, I missed the first half of the season, came back in January, is doing all this. You can't argue with the numbers. The numbers speak exactly into my argument.
Now, I will give you that, but again, you look at Zion's field goal percentage is very high compared to Ja Morant's. Ja Morant isn't taking as many inside dunks and layups as Zion Williamson is. So, of course, Zion's explosiveness is going to get him a lot more buckets than normal.
But here's the thing. We've seen a lot of Ja Morant's highlights. What is he mainly doing? Attacking the rim. Kind of like a Russell Westbrook does. So you can't really say that argument because we've known a lot of people compare Ja Morant and Russell Westbrook because of their aggressiveness when they're attacking the basket.
Now, Wills, to that point, there's something you got to keep in mind. When people go back and forth with Westbrook and Ja, you got to remember they play the same position. They're both guards. Zion's a forward. That's a different type of game.
John, who has the ball more?
Even in last night's game, Zion attempted 0 threes. So maybe he has that better percentage because he doesn't take as many threes. Got to factor that in now.
Still has a better field goal percentage than John.
Because the majority of his shots are underneath the basket off offensive rebound, putback, layups, and dunks.
Okay, but that's his
That's
style
fair.
of play.
The majority of his
You can't
baskets.
criticize the man's style of play. That's
No, we're
how
not
he
criticizing.
plays.
We're just saying that may have
No,
factored
yeah,
in.
it may have
him.
factored in.
But at the
factor
end
in.
of the day, you also, but I'm holding on. You also mentioned that Ja is doing more with less, but yet you look at what Zion's doing. Remember,
has more help.
Remember,
Zion
he has
has
an
more
all-star
help.
on his team,
Yes.
Brandon Ingram, and yet he's still averaging 24 points. Well, Brandon Ingram's averaging 25 a
Who
game.
does Ja have with him?
Jaren Jackson's going to be a great player for Memphis.
Going to
Jaren
be.
Jackson,
He's not
he's
that
still
keyword of
hold
that
up.
sentence.
Going to
19
be.
points.
to be.
He's
19,
not
18
an
points a
all-star
game
yet.
now. Let's
not bad.
not say his man's a scrub.
That's not. I know.
But he's
That's
not an all-star averaging 25 points per
Exactly.
game like Brandon Ingram.
Okay, but who else do Pelicans have?
The Pelicans have Lonzo Ball. They have Drew Holiday.
Lonzo Ball,
who's a former
10 points a game, Lonzo Ball.
Lonzo-
Alfonso
hey,
Ball.
the
That's
numbers-
what they call him when he
Lonzo
came out the
Ball.
womb.
Lonzo Ball's play goes beyond the numbers, if we're being honest. The man plays amazing defense. He's a great playmaker and facilitator who has great court vision, sees the floor well.
But the whole
Okay,
point-
but he
the
doesn't
point of
control the tempo of the game.
Point of that, there's a lot more experience and a lot more depth on that team.
Mm-hmm.
In crunch time, who do you think the opposite team is looking to stop on the Grizzlies? Nobody but Ja. Who else they gonna go to?
John Morant. They could also stop Jaren Jackson Jr.
But I'm
And
saying
you got to remember too, Memphis.
The Pelicans have
yeah.
more weapons.
The Pelicans
Yeah.
have more weapons, but yeah, how
Exactly.
come they're not as succeeding as the Memphis Grizzlies do?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I believe John Morant should still be rookie
It
of the year.
should, it
But
should
that's
be
what I'm
Zion.
saying. When coaches are
Yes.
devising a game plan on how to stop Memphis, who's the number one person they're
Okay,
looking to
but
stop?
same thing
Ja.
when you looking at what Zion's been on the tear the last 15 games, you can't ignore what he's been doing. It's like, okay,
No, of
we
course
gotta,
not.
our job, we gotta
stop
stop
this
this
guy.
289-pound linebacker from getting into the paint. You literally see grown NBA men getting
Failing
the
to
hell
stop
out of
him.
the paint
Yeah.
to let this guy go because he's so strong. Everybody want to say Zion's fat. I ain't see no fat in that boy. That's all pure muscle.
I
and
believe all
strength.
that.
I
believe
will
all that.
give you this. If Zion does lead the Pelicans to the 8th seed in the conference, they're
Then you put him over?
maybe.
At that point, you might have.
I
to.
might have to. Yeah, I might have to put him over John Morant. But
what
at
I'm-
this point in the game, I'm still taking John Morant to be my rookie of the year.
But what I'm
That's
saying
that.
is, if teams isolate Ja in their game plan, who else can Memphis really depend on? If you take Zion out of New Orleans' equation, they have other pieces to get the ball
Really,
to.
really, Brandon Ingram's been carrying that team on the offensive end. All right, quick, MVP right now. I said Giannis. I said last week on the show, Giannis is the best player. But after that triple-double that LeBron had this Sunday against Pelicans, I'm kind of tipping LeBron. It's neck and neck, but LeBron's here, Zion's like right here. It's neck and neck.
Nope.
I think so.
Giannis,
You're 17,
Giannis
man.
just overtook that one again by posting his first ever career 40-point double-double, a 40-20 game. So it's still Giannis for me.
What about you?
King James.
And that's that.
You agree? Okay, well, great. All right, guys, that is it for the first segment. We'll be back with more on First and 10.